You say you buy the full version, you get all of them? Okay. That's the catch. Yeah, see, that was back in the day when free games, the free-to-play games actually had microtransactions that made sense. Nowadays, man, you can buy a game full price and they'll still have all these different little fucking things to buy. Like the first game that I saw that did it in a weird way was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I saw that and I was like, there's skin packs, right? Like character costumes. I think it's $20 to get just like one set of skins for everybody. I don't know if it's like for one person a piece or if it's like for the whole crew, but I know it was overly priced, man. I saw it, I was like, what the hell? A $70 game and then you gotta buy $20 skins. Like that's some shit you should be able to unlock in the game, you know what I mean? These companies have gotten out of control. And speaking of which, what y'all think about, Switch 2? But yeah, I just want to know what your thoughts are, man, because these games are going to be $80 and $90. In my opinion, unfortunately, I think that these companies are going to do the same. Because look, think about this, y'all. If Mario Kart, for example, it's $80 if you want to buy it digitally, $90 if you buy the physical copy, and there's no guarantee that that physical copy is going to be like a legitimate physical copy, because Nintendo's doing some now where they have like these little game key cartridges where you can buy the game physically on a little cartridge, but it's just basically like a license key to get the game. If anything, you just more so have like a glorified digital version. So when you pop that in, you have to have internet access to download the game on your system. It's not coming from the cartridge itself. So let's say you go to the store and buy a Nintendo Switch 2 game and you get the physical copy with the little game key thing. You're spending all this money. You go home and put it in your let's say you don't have internet, right? You're living out in the middle of nowhere. You just don't pay for internet because you don't want it. And you put that shit into your console. It'll be like, oh, you need the internet to download this. It's like, bro, I just bought the game from the store. Why can't I play it right now? It's like, that's weird as fuck to me. That's some DRM. They push that shit on us trying to make us pay for DRM and say, well, you got to pay this for that. And I think they're coming back around like it's a full circle thing where they're like, okay, we can try to sell it to them again now. Since more people have internet, more people are buying digital copies of games. I think the numbers sit right around 60-70% of all game sales come from digital sales. It's a known thing now. Most people are not buying games from the store. They're buying it from the digital store. They're going online and downloading the game rather than like going and pick up a CD. So that's already a problem. So these companies say, all right, now's the perfect time to pull the trigger and say, here, you can buy this game, but you have to have the internet to get it. Like, I buy a lot of games digitally, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be okay with that, right? Xbox One, they had this whole system set up where, let's say I buy a game, right? You want the game that I just bought. Back in the day, I have any game, I'm done playing it. You got the same system as me. I just literally hand it to you. Here, put it into your system. It'll work exactly the same, right? But no, Xbox One tried this bullshit back then where, let's say if I give you the game, y'all put it in y'all system, same system, it should be just interchangeable. The disc is registered to my console, so therefore when I give it to you, it's going to recognize, oh, this is not so-and-so's console. You can play this game, but you have to pay an unlock fee. So instead of having to buy the game brand new, you got to pay them like $20 or something to unlock the game to access it on your system. That's what they were going to try back then. So let's just imagine you bought the game from me. Let's just say I don't want the game at all no more. Instead of letting you borrow it, I'm selling it to you. I paid $60 for it because that's how much games were back then. Let's say I sell it to you for like $40 or $30. You pay me the money, cool. You think the deal is done. You go home, you have to pay Microsoft now to play the game you just bought from me, another fee. So at that point, you're damn near buying the game all over again. Like, they tried it back then, but a lot of people didn't want that. And Sony, the reason why they weren't able to get away with it is because Sony said, well, we're not going to have that bullshit on our system. Not only is our system $100 cheaper than the Xbox One, because Xbox One was trying to be $500 back then, but Sony was like, okay, well, the PS4 is going to be $399, and they had like a famous meme commercial now, like a little, it's not even really a commercial, but it's like a little marketing thing where I forgot the dude's name, but the Japanese dude that was like in an executive position at Sony, and it was a white guy, I forgot his name too, but they literally just was standing right next to each other, and they was like, here's how you share games on the PS4. The one dude handed the other guy the game disc, and that was it. It was like, here's how you share games on the PS4, and the dude just literally handed him the game, and they both just looked at the camera and smiled. And I was like, that's it. And that's how it should be, and that's how it always should be. But they're trying it again, y'all, with this bullshit here. I don't think that people are okay with this now, even still after all these years. And Nintendo, I mean, they're a great company with great products, great quality, legendary status really in the game industry. And, they have an extremely good hold on their exclusives. But I think they jumped the gun. I think they really overplayed themselves. Yeah, they overestimated themselves. They thought they were bigger than what they actually are, in the sense that they're going to get away with charging $80. But just to give context, games up until maybe just a few years ago, even on the Switch, was all like $50 and $60. There was very few games that were $70, even in this modern market where we have all the games that come out brand new are $70. $70 you have to pay for every single game that comes out today, except for on the Switch. The original Switch still has $60 games no matter what, and there was just a few. But now, not only are they going to all their games 70, but now their game's going to be $80. And if you want the digital, in some cases it's going to be 90. But everything's going to be $10 more if you want the physical copy. And even then, the physical copy is not guaranteed to actually be the game. You know, I don't know if it's going to be a case-by-case basis or if they're just doing this all the way across the board. From what I understand at this point, I believe most of their games, if not all of them, are just going to be like game keys. So instead of it being like an actual cartridge that the game is loaded onto, it's going to be like a license key, a digital license key. And you just, I guess you get the feeling, the experience of popping a game into your system, but yet it's still something you have to download. Still have to have internet access. It's f***ing wild. I don't think they're going to get away with it though. Because it's already enough that the system is $450 default, which is more expensive than the last one. And I think the reason why, and I'll just wrap it up with this, I think the reason why Nintendo Switch, the original, sold like more systems than any other console right now is because they were the most affordable. If you go back to 2017, obviously the PS5 and Xbox Series X was not out yet. You know, people still opted to buy the Switch because it was like, what, $300? And it's convenient because it's portable. You can take it anywhere you want to go. You know, some people might be living in a house with other people and there's only one TV, and get a Switch and you could play whenever you want, wherever you want. And it's cheaper. So they had a good market back then with that idea, with that concept. Portable games on like a sophisticated console, not as sophisticated as PS4 and definitely not as up there as PS5, but still decent enough. And it was cheap, $300. Now they're charging $450, which is not terrible. Although it's more than what people thought. $50 doesn't seem like a lot extra. No, I'm good on that. I'm giving you $50 times 8. So some people won't even buy the Nintendo Switch 2 just because it's that $50 more than what they were expecting. But I'm sure they'll do well. I'm sure they'll sell a lot of consoles. But the gaming community are not happy with this. I've been seeing a lot of people talking shit about it, saying this is just a bad move, bad business decision on behalf of Nintendo. And I don't want to call them greedy, but I feel like they thought they could capitalize upon this, and they made a mistake. You know, the question now, though, is will they get away with it? The fact that they're charging this much for the games and the way they're trying to go about it, it seems real manipulative. You know what I mean? It's very anti-consumer, if you ask me. I just think it's fascinating because this affects everybody. If they can get away with these prices, man, just watch out. Sony, Microsoft, $80, $90 games, man, right around the corner. Because if Nintendo can get away with it, Sony's like, hey, our games are better, they're more popular, they're more sophisticated, more advanced. Why the wouldn't we charge $90 for our games? So if the market is okay with this, if the market accepts this, meaning the consumers, the customers, if we go ahead and buy this at this price, it won't be nothing for Sony and Microsoft to say, okay, that's what's up. Well, here you go. The next Assassin's Creed game is $90. The next whatever's $90. The next God of War is $90. The next fucking Halo is $90. You see what I mean? For the top stuff, the most popular, they're gonna be like, it's $90, straight up. Because let's be honest here, the games on PlayStation and on Xbox are more popular, more advanced than what the Switch has to offer. Now, you know, it's niche. You know, it depends on what you're into. Some people prefer Nintendo over anything else. They have a bunch of different games that are going to be coming out for it. But to me, a lot of them are like older games from years ago that are being ported over. Some of them are games that are from Switch original that they're just upgrading, and they're charging for the upgrades. That's another thing that's crazy I forgot to mention. They're charging for the upgrades. Not all of them, but like some games, if you want to get the more advanced, enhanced version, right? The Switch 2 version of, let's say, Breath of the Wild or whatever, you got to pay, let's say, maybe $10, $20 upgrade, which we're already seeing that now with a lot of different games. It's like, come on, bro, you're already charging more for the games in general. The system is already, you know, in my opinion, overpriced. I think Switch 2 is overpriced. I don't think it's worth no $450. That's just my opinion. It ain't got no fucking super advanced graphic card up in there or nothing. But see, I'm one of those people, man, like, I've considered buying systems just for like one game. But to me, it's not feasible, especially what I got going on nowadays. It's like, I don't have the time to really play a bunch of different games like that. What y'all see me do here, unless I'm playing like some online game, then all my game time is spent streaming. See what I mean? And outside of that, man, I'll be doing other shit. So Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely not on my radar. But the reason why I mention it is just because the shit will spill over into other markets as far as like games go. Like other companies will try to do that bullshit. And I do not hope to see that, man. Are you willing to pay that much for these games? Are y'all cool with the price of the games? You know, let's not even talk about the price of the actual console itself, because that's an investment. You know, you pay it one time, you're good. But then when you're spending damn near $100 per game, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? That can add up fast. Because just break it down this way. I like to think of things in this kind of aspect. If I'm spending the maximum amount of money on these games that they're charging, right, $90, even if you want to be conservative about it, let's do 80. Actually, no. We'll go back. Because back in the day, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the games were still $60. Let's just keep it kind of in the realm of logic. We already had a bump in the prices. After buying how many? Like 3, 4 games? You done bought a whole new game right there. So instead of having 4 games or 5 games, you have one less. And you just still gave them the same amount of money. That's like, go to the PlayStation Store or whatever system you got, click on any game you want to get, click purchase, pay for it, but you don't have it. And they say, thanks for your money. And then it still says available to purchase. Like you have to pay for it twice to get it. That's how I look at it. And I think that's fucking bogus. I think that's bogus as I'm not going to say fuck them. I say fuck that. They're still a good company, but I feel like this was a bad move. But they tried it. They really tried it. And I don't blame them because, you know, they're in the business to make money. But like I said before on many other streams, in the gaming industry, any fucking industry that involves art, you have to be reasonable with how you charge money for things, because it's all about value at the end of the day. It's a value exchange. We're giving them money for something that they have to offer to us. If the value's there, if they deliver on the thing that we're buying, we'll gladly part with our money. So perfect example, seeing as Nintendo is doing this shit with their games, and there's already rumors of talking about like maybe GTA 6 would be $100. And I saw an article from like, I think a year or two ago, where Strauss Zelnick, you know, Take-Two Interactive, the head of that, he was saying, like, based off of how long the game is, the amount of content that's in it, that's how the game should be priced. So instead of just having a blanket price across the board, right, every single game is going to be $70. No matter if it's a 10-hour game, whether it's a 50-hour game, they're all going to be $70. Whether it has tons of shit to do or just very limited things to do, $70, right? He's saying the way he wants to look at it is setting a standard to where the more the game has to offer, the more they should be able to charge for it. And if a game doesn't have a whole lot going on with it, it should be cheaper. And that makes sense to me in a way. What's the range? Like, are games that, you know, like Callisto Protocol, that game you could beat in 7 hours. Is that game now all of a sudden a $40 game? A $30 game maybe? And then we look at GTA 6, is that going to be a $100 game? A $120 game? Given the fact that Nintendo's charging $80 and $90 for their games now, which is a huge increase on what they used to do, and an increase across the whole industry in general, because no games are that much, unless you're buying like deluxe editions or like the early access, the little fee you got to pay for that. Unless you're doing that, man, all games are 70, some are 60. But with that being said, I think Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive are sitting there rubbing their hands together like, okay, Nintendo, we see you, thank you. That's what's up. They're looking at each other, calling each other up like, yo, y'all see what Nintendo did? They're like, yo, we know what we finna do here. If Nintendo's charging this much for their games, they're going to be like, yo, GTA 6 is fucking way more impactful than what they got going on. So if they can get away with charging $80, $90 for their games, why would we charge $70 for GTA 6 when you're buying, no offense, but this is just my opinion, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but when you're buying little dinky games on Nintendo Switch for $80 and $90, GTA 6 is going to have way more longevity than a lot of those games as far as like explorative things to do. Mario Kart, of course, you can play it every day forever, but at some point it's going to get old. And of course GTA 6 will get old too, but there's people still jamming out in GTA 5, and the only reason why that's dying off is because people are like, yo, I'm ready for the next shit now. But anytime I got on GTA Online, man, it'd be tons of people all the fucking time. There was never a lobby that wasn't full of people. So, you know, and there could be reasons for that, maybe because it's the only thing they have and shit like that. We can make the argument for why people are still playing GTA 5. But the point I'm making is this. They've set a bad standard in the industry, and I'm just worried that companies will follow suit and say, okay, our games are better and bigger than what Nintendo has to offer. So why in the hell wouldn't we charge $80, $90, maybe even $100 for our games? That's going to be unfeasible. You know what I'm saying? It's just not feasible in my opinion. And they chose the wrong time to do it too, because the market's still not good as far as like the economy. Things are getting better. The good times, I believe, are right around the corner, but we're not there yet. It's still expensive. People ain't making as much money to keep up with inflation and shit. And then you got people worried about tariffs, which I'm not worried about that. I feel like other countries will they'll say, okay, well, this is fucking us up, so let's just be fair here. And the only reason why Donald Trump is doing that because we've been getting on tariffs from other countries. So I understand where he's coming from.
Made in China.
But it's not going to be a smooth time for the next couple of months, maybe for the next whole year. So Nintendo Switch is coming out in June, and it will sell, but how well will it sell is the question. Just to be reasonable, if I'm paying $80 for a game, I wouldn't mind it if like the DLC was free. Don't sell me shit in the game. Don't fucking advertise nothing. You better not have no skin packs and there better not be no in-game store, period. Now, okay, it's only $10 more, but still, it's like you already asking for money up front that I probably would not have spent if I didn't have to buy that, right? So since you're forcing me to pay that little extra fee on top of it, you better give me everything else for free. I don't think it's super common that people like, okay, every game they get, like this game right here, bro, look at this. This game is $70, right? But then yet they have a in-game store, as you can see right here. So a $70 game, you can now also buy a $10 map pack, $3 hidden chest thing, a $23 pack to buy a skin set for Naoe and Yasuke, another $23 pack for just skins. You get what I'm saying? All these are $23. So if I wanted all this shit, bro, I'm buying the game over again and then some. I'm buying the game more than twice just to get all the shit that's in the game. But if I'm paying $80 or $90 for the game, this shit better be free. That's all I'm saying. Because you're forcing me to do it. Like I'll spend $70. But when I gotta be, spending $80 or $90, man, y'all better throw that shit in. You better not advertise nothing to me. Don't put nothing in my face like, okay, well, you get the in-game currency and buy this now. It's like, no, I just paid $80. I just paid damn near $100 when I didn't want to. So that's crazy. And I think they were waiting to see what they can do. If you looked at the showcase, they didn't mention nothing about price anywhere whatsoever. When you go to their website and scroll all the way down the bottom and like do some digging, then you can see like, okay, this game is going to be $90 physical, $80 digital. It's like, yeah, y'all got us fucked up. So I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes, but a lot of people are not happy with this, and reasonably so, because it ain't time yet for no price increase like that. Like, let's say maybe another 10 years from now, maybe 8, maybe around PS6 generation, maybe PS7, we'll go to $80, $90. But right now, people ain't got money like that. Like I was saying, the economy is not all too great right now for like people's personal income. Now the markets, they're not terrible, like the actual stock market, but it's really rocky as it always usually is. But as far as like people's personal economics go, now's not a good time, man. People don't have a whole bunch of extra money to spend like that. Just be like, okay, sure, Nintendo. Let's say you buy the system and buy a couple games day one. Bro, you're spending damn near what, like $700-800. If each game is gonna be damn near 100, you buy 3 games, man, you don't spend like damn near $800 right there. That's crazy. When you could have really just spent what, closer to 6, maybe a little bit more than 600. It adds up quick. Appreciate y'all listening to my rant though, because it's not like I'm super passionate about it, but it does concern me. I don't want to be spending, because I'm probably never going to get a Switch or even Switch 2, but I don't want it to affect what I got going on. See what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, oh, now I go to the PlayStation Store and all these games got $90 price tags. Like that'd be a big problem, straight up. Most Nintendo games are not really interesting to me. When I was a kid, definitely. I played a lot of stuff growing up in the 90s and everything. But, I mean, today, man, there's too many other games that have my interest. And for me to have to buy a whole nother console, it's just not worth it to me. I'm not thinking about no other console until the PlayStation 6 comes out. That's why I didn't get no damn PS5 Pro. I know it's better, but it ain't worth no $700 to me. Not right now. Because look, in 2 years, right around 2 years, that's my prediction. Because if you look at how these timelines go, man, every 6 to 8 years, it's going to be a new system. So I for sure believe, at least before 2028, we're going to see a PS6. You know what I mean? Between 2027 and 2028, there will be a next gen. And that's just about 2 years away. And dude, you couldn't even imagine how much they're going to charge for that shit. It could be anywhere between $600 for the PlayStation 6 all up to maybe $800. Some people are saying they might charge $1,000, but I don't think that. I think that would be hella crazy. I don't think anybody's going to buy no $1,000 system. But if they charge $700 for a PS5 Pro, it could be well above $800. But that's another question for y'all, man. When the PlayStation 6 comes out, and if they make another Xbox, would y'all be willing to pay $1,000, maybe $800? Let me know, man. What price could they get your business at? What price could they make the sale at to you for a PlayStation 6 or Xbox, whatever? Depending on what they put into this next system, if it's $700 or $800, it might be a better option to buy that than to build a PC. But at the same time, you could do more with a PC than you could with a system. So in that sense, I mean, a PC, custom PC is way more versatile than any game system is. But if you're just doing it to play games, it might be better to get the system. But I agree with that. Like, man, $700 is a lot of money when you think about it. And of course, you can get a good, 5, 6, maybe 7 years out of it. But it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, we're just expected to pay more and more money for each system that comes out. Because think about it like this. Back in the day when PlayStation 3 first came out, $600, people did not like that. It did not sell well. So they said, okay, when PS4 comes out, we're going to change things. PS4 came out, it was $200 cheaper. So if you think about it, a $600 console back in 2005, 2006 would have been closer to $800. Or somewhere around there, more than 700, I believe, by the time 2013 rolled around. So in that sense, man, for them to charge $400 for it, they were listening to the market, they heard their customer base, and they knew what to do. They won that console generation just because of that. The barrier to entry is the console itself. We're in a day and age now where, most games are on other systems, but you still need something. You need a computer, whatever, handheld, or a PS5, Xbox Series X. So either way, you're going to have to buy one of them. Now, the question is, which console is cheaper? Which is going to be cheaper? When PlayStation 6 comes out, and if they make another Xbox, whichever one's cheapest is one that's going to win. That's just what it comes down to. Because it's all about accessibility. Just like with these games that Nintendo's putting out that are going to be about $90. You got to think about, well, if it's $10 more than what they're used to, then some people will just won't even with it. So it's all about that barrier to entry.